Keanu had a show last night, and she talked a little bit about April and all that stuff going on. I listened to a little bit of it. Nothing we haven't heard before. You know, I guess there were a few podcasts giving her shit, so her and her mom gave him shit back. She also said something about yours truly that I didn't necessarily agree with, but I understand her perspective. She said that Aaron exaggerated our conversations about, her reaching out to me that one Saturday, and then us having conversations that, she says, oh, he exaggerated when he said, like, oh, I apologize and said, I'm sorry that everything happened about. Well, I mean, I don't know if I took a tone because I was on the air and, we're conveying a story. We're telling a story, as it were. And I got all performative, but I don't think I lied. I stand by what I said. We said our mea culpas. We said, hey, sorry everything got out of hand. Sorry about all the shit that went down. I mean, I have to stand by what actually happened. Keanu did say, I didn't know how much of a monster he was. And there were certain things he said that triggered me, that made me think wrong things about you. And I appreciate, I wasn't saying that to shit on her. I was saying that because a lot of people were giving me shit for even talking to her. And I said, look, when people want to say, there were ups in the past, I apologize. I think you'd be a really arrogant dick not to hear them out, not to accept their apology, and then admit where maybe you got things up. I don't really see that as the toe exaggerating at all. So that kind of, I listened to that, and it didn't upset me. Like, I'm not mad at Keanu for saying it, but I was like, you know what? I will go on my show, though, and kind of stand up for what happened, stand up for what was said. And again, if I said it in a performative way on the air, I will admit I probably wouldn't tell it person to person the way I told it on the air, because again, you're telling a story. You're you're throwing a little sizzle on it, if you will. But the meat of what I said, the content was correct. The content was true. So if it was the way I told the story, I'm sorry. I'm a bit of a theater kid myself. Could have went to Augustana University for drama and arts, but I decided to be poor in other ways. Thank you. But no, I listened to it. I think most of it wasn't really talking about Nick or April or anything like that. It was really more, I guess she's having a feud with these lady podcasters. And let me say something about lady podcasters having fights with each other. Can I just be the first one to go on record to say it breaks my heart? I mean, it really does. It absolutely tears me apart inside to see these powerful, beautiful women who have podcasts just yelling at each other. I mean, now I think if this election of Trump showed us anything, it's that these gals have to have unity. These gals need to come together. It's a shameful thing to see all these girls fighting and henpecking and scraping and clawing against each other. I think it's an awful thing, and I hope these gals find unity. So there's a lot of people who are making up their Christmas lists right now. There are a lot of people who, wishing to Santa Claus and all that. Here's my wish. I wish this Christmas, and if I get nothing, if there are no presents under the tree for your friend Aaron here, I want one gift that would make my Christmas worthwhile. I want these female podcasters to find peace. Keanu did say that a lot of people were, quote, dish rags. I kind of like that as an insult. She doesn't like her and Michaeline. Michaeline was full of vim and vigor as well. She was getting after the gals. I like to handle people who have problems with me with a little more levity, but I understand a good trashing. I get it. They went after the pretty antisocial girls. I don't think that's fair. I really don't, because the difference between the pretty antisocial girls having a show and not having a show is like that. I mean, unless you put Aaron or Steel Toe in their title, ain't nobody checking that out. I mean, they had to sell their souls to the guy who talks about kids to get themselves any play. I mean, that's a hell of its own making. So I don't really know if it's necessary to go after the pretty antisocial girls. I say pretty antisocial girls. Everyone in my chat says who. So I think that's punishment enough. But Keanu and Michaeline felt the need to go after them, and who am I to judge? Other people can do their show. They also went after Little Lemmy. Little Lemmy is a tragic example of what happens when you take the internet too seriously. I don't know. I'm not in other people's lives. I'm not in their homes. But I just imagine that if you went out and you went to Top Golf, or you went grocery shopping once a week, or you went to the gym, or you just, something, a hobby like, something that you do on a regular basis that gives you a routine, you'd kind of understand and you'd realize, well, the internet's supposed to be for fun. It's supposed to kill time when I'm not busy. It's not supposed to be my life where I get mad at things. Like, for these people like Lemmy, something bad happens on the internet, like on a Discord for them or on a podcast. Their day is ruined. I can't imagine living my life that way. That sounds like a prison. It sounds like a hell. So, again, I will appeal to the world. All I want for Christmas is these gal podcasters to have peace. I think there needs to be unity. If they want to have a summit, that's great. Triple N will moderate it. I'll get Triple N and Hobo Chili Recipe and maybe Roots. You know what I'll get? You know who needs to be there to officiate a woman's podcast peace summit? The Aristocox. That's a job for them. Snowcat Tish says yes, because all the male podcasters get along so well. No such thing as male unity. We don't care. Or at least we shouldn't. And the ones who do care, put them in the female podcaster category. Should just be doing your show, moving on with your life. That's what you should be doing. Under the tree, I just want to know that everything's fine between Lemmy and Keanu and Melissa and Terry from Pretty Antisocial. When you're hold on, guys. Maybe. Hello?
Hello.
Hi. Aaron.
I was listening.
Aaron from Steel Toe. Hi.
Oh, cool.
Look,
first time, long time.
Yeah.
Oh, you called me. What is it, so?
Look, I'm calling for a very simple reason. I hate all this ugliness. I don't. You know me. I'm not a beef guy. I'm not a fighting wars podcast guy. Ask anybody. Ask Sumac. I'm not into this fighting stuff. And I watched your guys' podcast last night. And by the way, I did say last night on my show while we were sniping your show, I said that I said that your mother back in the day hurt my feelings.
Did she?
She did. Because I was always very nice to Michaeline, and Michaeline was always very nice to me as well. And then when all that ugliness went down, she, to hear some of the things she said about me, I will admit, hurt my feelings.
You want to know what else Michaeline has also said in the past few weeks? She said, well, I think that maybe we were a little hard on Aaron. And she said that not on the air, just in life.
Now, when I tell this story,
and that is not easy to get out of Michaeline.
When I tell this story off the air to friends and family, I'll say, "Oh, Michaeline said that she thought they went a little hard on me." Now, when I tell that story back on the show, I'm going to say, Michaeline was in tears. She's losing her.
Michaeline was groveling. She flew to Minnesota.
She was
Michaeline
crying.
Knocked on my door,
guys.
And
it was.
She was hyperventilating.
Remember the way Frank Lopez begged at Tony Montana's feet not to kill him in Scarface? I never did nothing to nobody. It was just like that, and
right.
And I'm a man of forgiveness, so I forgave. But I really look. I want to talk about something very serious. This is important to me, and that is female podcasters fighting with each other, which I personally, in the day
let me first just say, our program on Toward Tuesday, it started off as it's a review of Romeo and Juliet and The Wicked, and Michaeline, her algorithm, I can't help her YouTube, she saw the, corner store workers, gas station workers podcast. At least that's what they look like. They look like the people I buy cigarettes from. And I wouldn't say that. I would never disparage looks, but they're mean people. They're mean to me.
You're talking about Melissa and Janelle?
It's the slut shaming hillbilly redhead and the one with the glasses.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
and
I
then
believe it.
also,
Amy and Lillian.
and there,
I believe.
Lillian and Shmishmishpa,
Okay.
whichever one it is. But and then their cohorts, which I was the first guest on BYB podcast. I know Quad.
Not a brag. Not a brag.
It's actually my worst and biggest regret because of how nice I was to them, and they've done nothing but except for Quad. I mean, even my mom just goes like, "Oh, whatever." But I don't watch their program either, Aaron. I don't watch it. I don't typically watch Magpie and Lilith or whatever their names are.
Close. I think
right?
that's close. I'm
But
sorry. I
mom,
called them Amy and Jill, and I f***ed that up, and I'm sorry.
Same thing. Whatever their names are. I can never remember either. But I don't typically watch them as well. But my mom had seen a few things, and then we decided to watch a few clips, and then it all hell broke loose.
Well, this
so
is,
we said our piece, and that's that.
Well, this is what I like, because I could tell that it got especially Michaeline worked up yesterday. And here's what I'd like to see again for Christmas. I said this earlier, and you were listening. If I get nothing else for Christmas this year, I think in the age of Trump, I think you gals need to stop fighting each other, because there's a patriarchy out there that's clearly trying to send everyone into camps, and it's going to be a lot easier. And look, I'm a guy. I'm going to be fine, so I don't need to be giving out this advice. But I think you gals need to find peace in the podcast world, and I think you all need to figure it out and have a summit. And like I said, if Hobo Chili Recipe could organize this summit and have you girls sit down and hammer it out, I think you should do it.
Yeah.
Or I have a counter. Or
it's beneath me and Michaeline.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Or
we don't.
Don't.
We truly don't care.
All right.
It's not what we're about. But it was quite fun. Come on, please. Are you kidding me? Like, as if you don't fight with every other podcaster on earth, Aaron.
Name one. Name one.
Chad Schumacher.
I love Chad Zumock. I think I went through his show the other day. I was complimentary to Chad Zumock, and I think he took it the wrong way. And I think we're going to work things out. I really do.
You act as if this is a fight, but you comment on things. Michaeline and I are allowed to comment on things every once in a while, especially when, I mean, I couldn't keep up with the amounts that they were talking about Michaeline and I. And I can't help her algorithm. And then I said, if you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. That's all.
All right. Well, look, I think you're in the wrong, and I think you should apologize. I think you should apologize the way you apologize to me. The groveling, the crying, the tears, all of this.
You know that you're a performative, theatrical human being.
I'm a performative storyteller. Absolutely.
Okay.
Like I said.
That's all I meant by that.
The meat of what I said was true. The theatrics behind it was maybe a little embellished.
You exaggerate and sort of not twist, but maybe you make it as if, you make it as if like Michaeline crawled to the door in Minnesota and said, I'm so sorry for what I have done. Please forgive me, Aaron.
When in reality, it was just a crying face emoji in a text.
She didn't even talk to you. See how the game of telephone goes? All I said was Michaeline said to me, we might have been a little hard on Aaron. That's all she said.
And as we know,
you just changed it to a text.
Yeah, as we know, that might not be true because Keanu is a giant liar. We all know that. We all know that to be true. All right, can you answer one thing before I cut you loose and you have your Skittles for dinner and go to bed?
It's the morning, but sure, my breakfast. Go ahead.
Let me. I want to read something from Turd Burglar, and I think this is something we should be taking seriously, and you should answer. Turd Burglar. Well, it's not Turd Burglar. It's Turd Burglar 69, and Turd Burglar 69 says this is just waiting for her next opportunity to stab you in the back. Your thoughts?
I'll stab you in the front again if I get the chance, Aaron.
Stab me in the front. Well,
I'm teasing.
Guess what? As a reformed citizen, I offer my enemies no knives. I am a monk at this point.
Aaron, you know I'm teasing. All right, so
all right, go make peace with these women. Otherwise, us men are going to run roughshod all over the landscape.
You know what? We honestly, you need to calm down, eat some fruit or something. All right, so it'll be just fine.
All right, no, I'll off you. No, you women keep doing it your way. You're doing great, doll.
Bye.
All right,
goodbye.
Well, that's not going to happen. These frauds don't listen.